It's a much nicer way to start, don't you think? We're just getting started this morning on the Thomas Hunt Show, working on copy and pasting that link. That's right. We do it all ourselves here at the Thomas Hunt Show. It's Sunday morning, 8:45 a.m., March 22nd, 2020. That's a lot of twos. We're copying and pasting links, maybe even selecting graphics. Do we have time for graphics? No one has time for graphics, but we always do. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Good enough. All right, tweet. Paste. All right, it's all happening here. We are setting up the graphics, getting ready to go. Here we go. Where's the chat? Everyone's wondering. Oh ho, Yuvos survived. BTC Moon Guys joining us in the chat, showing off his record collection this morning, I think on Twitter. Got to shoot back a picture of my own record collection before too long. That's funny, it gaps every once in a while. I swear this, get the fanciest shit, you try to plug it in right and everything. Every once in a while it gaps. Scares the shit out of me. I don't want the sound to gap. But yeah, anyway, I got to, there we go. Boom, chat's on the screen. Oh, working standing up like this is a whole new experience. I feel like I'm working all new muscles, like setting up the graphics with the standing up here. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get that like button. Scrolling. Oh, there it is. Captain Mittens. 4 likes already. 5 including myself. I like to like myself. There we go. What is this over here? Graphics? Yes. Full screen, I suppose, these days. Oh. La-ti-da. All right. I think we're almost ready. Cool Mandalorian cup, huh? It's not a Mandalorian. It's Boba Fett. Boba Fett? Where? All right, here we go. Starting the show. I'm going to show you my cool case. They're not good enough, Belsnor said. The Noser radio rig. Not good enough at all. He rose to his feet stiffly, hearing his bones crack. And it's Terra that's doing this, he thought, remembering what Seth Morley and Babel had said last night when they brought Russell over. Our own government. As if we're rats in a maze with death. Rodents confined with the ultimate adversary to die one by one until none are left. Rats in a maze with death. I know, it's a little melodramatic. But it's Philip K. Dick, right? You gotta open the morning right with some dick, right? It's coming from the book called Maze of Death, furthering my theory that the worst titles are the best Philip K. Dick books. Camera's still a little low. Let's try one more time. There we go. More of an adoring camera. There it is. I feel more adored. Anyway, Philip K. Dick. It starts out, this guy's on a planet. He doesn't like it. He's got a crap job, and he complains about it. How does he complain? Well, it's the future. How do you complain in the future? He prays to an intergalactic electronic network of prayers, hoping that his prayers will be answered. There's all kinds of stuff going on in this book. It's funny, if Philip K. Dick had an agent, if he had anybody that talked to him, if he had anybody interested in him, he'd say, buddy, you know, you had this big experience, and ever since that big experience, you never write about anything else, buddy. Buddy, we can see through this. We're reading it. These characters are all you talking to yourself about your big experience. So anyway, yeah, it's a very religious book, heavily religious. The prayer aspects, he's basically broken up God into 3 parts. Spoiler. And, there's kind of like a devil part. I think it's called the Form Destroyer. And the form destroyer is, of course, evil. And then there's a good part, and there's another part. And then there's also the walker on earth, thinly disguised Jesus Christ. Okay, so now you're up to speed with the religious attributes of this thing. So anyway, praise to the network of gods, and he's given for his prayers a mission to some crazy planet called like Delnock 40. And when he gets there, no one knows what the mission is. And they play the machine that's supposed to deliver the mission, and as it's playing the mission, it shifts from the play head to the erase head, destroying the only tape they had of what they're supposed to do. And from then on, they're just trying to figure it out. And of course, it's kind of a thriller, I guess. Something starts to kill them. But while something's killing them, of course, they have tons of religious debates because it's Philip K. Dick, and that's what he's into. So check it out. I got it on Kindle Unlimited, Maze of Death, Philip K. Dick. Any Philip K. Dick will do. Anyway, we've got big books coming up today. Here's your, this is a special preview. This book is called Subway Art. This is one of the biggest books I own. Pretty big book. It's epic. I'm going to show you the inside later on my close-up book cam because it's Sunday, special day. And what's great about Subway Art, the book, not only its great size, but it's a compilation of 2 photographers who photographed New York City subway art during the 1980s. One photographer had the technique of taking a plane. He would take a picture of the entire train with multiple cameras while it was in the station. Then he combines those photos together. The other photographer would take pictures of subway art in the environment, out in the stations, out in, not in nature, but in New York City. And Subway Art, we'll talk more about that. If that's not the biggest book you've ever seen, I've also got this one. This is called M.C. Escher, The Graphic Work. And spoiler alert, is full of M.C. Escher. So we'll look at some Escher. We'll look at some Subway Art later on today. But that's just an exciting preview on the side cam. How about that? We've got it all on THS. Let's go to the graphics. Graphics. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I'll bet you didn't think I could do that. Puh. Checking out the price of Bitcoin. Today is Sunday, March 22nd, 2020. That's a lot of twos. The price of Bitcoin is down 1.64% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 6,112, a high of 6,463, and a low of 5,975. That's $1 for 16,447 Satoshis. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is still closed because it's Sunday, but the last time they were open, it was 19,173, down 4.55% for the day, a total of 913 points down. Here we go, the big refresh. We're going to refresh the numbers. Coronavirus cases worldwide, 319,128, 13,697 deaths. Stay the fuck home. Don't go the fuck outside. I know it hurts your libertarian feelings to stay home, but it's the best thing you can do right now. Oh, the graphics aren't working. Damn. Okay, we're going to fix this. But anyway, staying home is the best thing you can do right now. There's a little bit more graphics, but you know what Bitcoin charts look like. Stay home. It's the best thing you can do right now. It's no fun. The virus doesn't care. Boom. We got graphics again. Fixed it. So that's what the graphics look like. There you go. You're up to speed. I've got a couple different views here. I got a lot of open broadcaster going on. You know, got a lot of angles of things and stuff. Anyway, wear a fucking mask. So I complained I didn't have any masks because I'm in the United States and they were sold out. I looked weeks ago. I even looked months ago. People were already profiteering on masks once the China-Hong Kong thing, everything else started up. So I was in despair. I was like, I'm going to have no mask. I'm going to stay inside. My first plan, right? My second plan is that you can make your own mask. So check this out. Go to a webpage similar to wearafuckingmask.com or whatever this is, Google it, and figure out how to make your own mask. If you're in your community, you have sewing machines, you know how to sew, you have access to this, you could be making masks and giving them to your local hospitals. I saw a video today. They're kind of distributing the leftover food from the casinos, a lot of vegetables and things that needed to be distributed quickly. And none of the people were wearing masks. And I know they all think they don't have it, and they're all hanging out with people that don't have it and all that kind of thing. But we need to wear the masks, right? If we don't have the masks, we need to make the masks. And I know this isn't being widely talked about. I don't know why. To me, this is the obvious next step of just kind of learning about this thing. Like I learned about flatten the curve. I was like, all right, stay home. Got it. I learned about making my own mask and not going out without a mask. Good idea, especially in public. And just in general, let's get on this. This is something we can do. And, worst case, you make a bunch of masks, you don't use them, you have them for next year. You donate a bunch of masks, and they have more. Like this video. 13 people have liked this video. YouTube recommends videos when they're liked. Liking is free. You don't have to donate any money. And basically, I suggest that you like all YouTube videos, not this one. If you ever see a good YouTube video, just like it. Be like, hey, somebody worked hard on that. It's good stuff. Sad news today. Spain reports virus deaths up 30% in one day. Let's see if we can get some bigger text. I'm far away. Oh, it's kind of bigger. Spain has announced 394 new deaths caused by the novel coronavirus, raising the total to 1,720. The official death toll in Europe's second worst hit country after Italy. This is a 30% increase over yesterday. The number of confirmed cases rose by 3,646, or 14%, according to health ministry figures, with officials warning infections will rise further in the coming days. With 1,785 people being treated for the virus in intensive care, there is mounting concern about overcrowding at Spain's hospitals. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez warned late last night that Spain's outbreak, already among the harshest in the world, would continue to worsen. We must prepare ourselves emotionally and psychologically for the hard days ahead, he told the nation in a televised address. We have yet to receive the impact of the strongest, most damaging wave, which will test our material and moral capacities to the limit, as well as our spirit as a society, he added. Dozens of coronavirus patients were moved on Sunday to a makeshift field hospital set up at a Madrid conference center to be fitted with 5,500 hospital beds, which would make it the largest such facility in Europe. Soldiers helped move 200 patients just before midnight from area hospitals to the sprawling IFEMA conference center, where 1,300 hospital beds so far have been set up, the regional government of Madrid said in a statement. The field hospital will receive a total of 300 coronavirus patients this weekend, the director of the facility said in an interview with the newspaper El Mundo. They are arriving in waves, he said. Sounds like a Hemingway quote, right? Remember the one where Hemingway's in Spain? It's so good. And he's always talks in short sentences. He was working for the hospitals too there. He's working for the ambulances. So Spain has issued an order of lockdown for its 46 million residents, the entire country, who are only permitted to leave their homes for essential work, food shopping, medical reasons, or to walk the dog. So total lockdown for Spain. Coronavirus cases in the United States, we are refreshing. 27,151, 349 deaths. Checking out the active cases on a graph, we are continuing to go straight up, looking at 23,000, looking for the half. Yesterday, day before, 13,000. That's about a half. 12,000 would be a solid half. So I would say March 19th. Today is March 22nd. We seem to be doubling on average around every 2 days. Given that, that's 2 more days, 50,000, 4 more days, 100,000 cases in the United States. regardless of if the testing's bad or we don't have enough testing, based upon the actual numbers that are being reported, what we can estimate is 100,000 cases in the United States within 4 days. So Monday, so about Thursday or Friday, 100,000. This is the enemy, doesn't care about your politics, doesn't care if you didn't prepare for it, doesn't care if you sold your stock early. Fight the enemy by staying home. We can be more productive by making masks, delivering food, helping the elderly, and advising people who have bad information that, yes, they might not like it and it's horrible, but you should stay home for a little while. It's not that bad. Endgame C, stop and then restart. Endgame C is to stop and then restart, minimizing activity and interactions, sealing the borders to passenger traffic, and interactions driven down to zero. Looks like we got a caller. Hello, caller.
Hello?
You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, cool, Thomas. My name is Jeff, and I'm calling from Colorado, near Boulder.
All right, Jeff. What's on your mind today?
I just got out of the hospital yesterday, and I was diagnosed with COVID-19. And our whole entire system is really making it worse. Just the whole experience of getting diagnosed was awful, and just kind of scary too, because when the worst symptoms came on, they hit me like a freight train. I got off my couch and went to the fridge, and by the time I got back to the fridge, I just suddenly had severe chills and was just shaking terribly bad, and couldn't breathe. Like that was the worst part. I couldn't breathe. It was just, that was the scariest part. And while all this was going on, I genuinely thought I was going to die. I was navigating my app for Cigna Health, and I was trying to figure out what stupid pharmacy I have, and that way I could talk to like a nurse over the phone and sort of figure out what to do, and even find out really what doctor to go to. And so I think first of all, and then I finally went to the emergency room, and the way that they diagnosed me with COVID-19, which is what the diagnosis was not by testing me for COVID-19, because there are no tests available. Do not believe other people unless you are 60 years old, or unless you have some type of connections, like you're the president or vice president or someone wealthy. There's no way
National
to get
Basketball League. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of having a $15 test done, I probably had to pay $1,700 for an emergency room visit. They did the EKG, they took x-rays of my chest, they did blood work, and they did, excuse me, they did a food check. And so they ruled out everything else that it could have possibly been. And, I haven't got the bill yet, but after talking to my insurance company, it's probably going to be about $1,700 for a $15 test. And I didn't even get the test. I'm recovering now. I'm feeling better. The whole thing really came in waves. Started with a sore throat, which was very different.
How many days has it been?
Really, so since the previous Friday, so 9 days, I think, since I showed my very first symptoms.
Okay.
Maybe today's day 10, but today's day 4 since I felt like I was going to die. Like Thursday night, I thought I was going to die. I just couldn't breathe. Felt like I had bricks on my chest. It was very, very scary. And while that was happening, I was trying to figure out what pharmacy I had, and I was trying to punch in my numbers to my healthcare thing. So, you see the numbers. I saw that you were showing how many numbers there are, and there are far, 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 far more than that. And there's just no testing available. And our our bureaucratic mess, our administrative nightmare that we've created, really in everything, um, but in particular to the government and our healthcare industry, uh, is harming people. And I hope this isn't true, but I'm very concerned after what I've gone through that our death rates could potentially be a lot higher than elsewhere, just because of the way things have come down. So I just wanted to share my experience because I went through it, and I guess I happen to answer any questions or having
Yeah, it,
hear
it
your thoughts.
definitely helps to share your experience, and we definitely want to hear more about it. It's scary stuff, and it's something that we might all have to go through. This virus is going to be everywhere. It spreads really well. We're all trying not to get it, but we all might get it anyway. When you did figure out where to go at the hospital, did you go to the main emergency room, or was there kind of like a COVID testing? Were you able to do drive-through or anything like that?
No, it was there is no dirty wing and there is no clean wing the way that they've done it in the East, like the Far East, um, China and Korea, Taiwan. No, I went in the main entrance of the emergency room. I was trying to find just a drive-through test, um, and get some type of diagnosis done, but they wanted me to go to my primary care doctor, and I just moved to Colorado, and I don't have a primary care doctor yet. It's one of those things that I've been meaning to do to go get a physical.
Sure.
I moved here like a year ago, so I just ended up at the ER, and I walked in the main entrance. Um, then the scary part really is after I was diagnosed with COVID-19, I said, hey, I need groceries. Tell me to get groceries. And all the apps are full. I can't do Walmart pickup. I can't do Walmart delivery. Instacart isn't working. Maybe Uber Eats. So I just been putting on my mask and driving to Taco Bell.
Oh,
But
God.
they literally told me the doctor said, well, everybody's going to get this. It's kind of too late. So just go to the grocery store early in the morning, put on your mask, wear gloves, and try to avoid people.
Wow.
And I'm not doing that. I'm self isolating. I don't want to get anyone sick. Um, and so I have my mask, and I need food. I'm gonna go to drive through. But anyway, I got another call coming in, but I just thought that I would share that with you.
Well,
Yep.
hey, it's rough times. Thanks for sharing your story, and give us a call
Yeah,
anytime. And I hope you feel better, man. Drink some lots of water, and just
great,
do what you can.
great. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks so
Bye.
much, man. All right, we're getting started early with the phone calls today. If you'd like to call us, let me get the call screen somewhere around here. There's a call screen, but anyway, you can call us at our numbers are 1-518-600-1949 or on Skype at World Crypto Network. As a caller was just saying, just share your experiences. Sounds, it's getting very real out there. Oh, I broke the like button. That's too bad. But anyway, what happened to the like button? I swear, I love Open Broadcaster, but I get to mess with the graphics every day. It's like a fun new thing. Anyway, serious real story there from Jeff in Colorado, and something that might be happening to all of us soon, right? I mean, this virus is going to keep coming. The heavy feeling on the chest. There was a question in the chat about the kind of treatment that Jeff got. I didn't get to ask that. He said it had been 9 days, and that he felt worse about 4 days ago, about Thursday. And by worse, yeah, he felt the full worst. So this thing is real. It's spreading. Stay home. Don't mess around, and stock up on food while you can, while you're healthy. I mean, what can we do? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope Jeff has some friends there in Colorado who can help him out with his food situation. If not, we are so connected but so disconnected. People probably know people in this chat better than they do their neighbors, and right now certainly isn't a time to meet the neighbors. But you got to do what you got to do if you got to break through. And I also feel what he's saying about the doctor and the healthcare bureaucracy. And the worst part of it is, I don't know. I mean, people, I don't generalize and speak for Jeff here, but like, I know myself, I don't like to be sick, and I pretend not to be sick, and I don't go to the doctor till the last minute, that kind of thing, right? I don't know if you guys are into that. So definitely like not having the phone number, not knowing the doctor, having not seen them in a while, and then of course sometimes not paying the premium or whatever on time. All of those things I'm a participant in. And it's especially worse when your head's spinning and you're not feeling well, and then you're trying to figure out the bureaucracy, and then maybe normally you're really good at navigating phone menus or really good at finding the number. But yeah, let's go ahead and get those numbers ready now. Sadly, all we can do is try to learn from others' examples and improve ourselves. So figure out your hospital situation now. Figure out where you're going to go. I We knew about this thing since January. You think that they could have set up the drive-through stations and the separation of people. You think they could have had a better plan for Jeff to get food so he wouldn't have to eat Taco Bell every day, which is a real nightmare in itself, which we could really talk about. And I hate to mention it, but obviously feeds into our ironic theory about Demolition Man. In the future, all restaurants are Taco Bell. Well, no, I mean, IBLB in the chat, like I don't even care about the POTUS right now. Even the hospitals, even just the normal people, even McDonald's, the corporation, like every corporation that right now is going to ask for and get a bailout, the hotels, the hospitals, the airplanes, the restaurants, everybody who's going to ask and get a bailout saw this thing coming in China, right? And we had the option to prepare. We had the option to do nothing. There's also a middle option, and we took the do nothing option, right? No expense was spared. No expense was spent. No, we spared all expense. So, and again, you can look at other countries. You can look at how they responded to this. You can look at, like Larry was talking about, having gloves and masks left over from the SARS epidemic in China and Hong Kong. I mean, other countries have prepared differently. And it's your choice in a democracy how you think the country should prepare. You can always talk about that. So let's see what's going on in the books, right? We want to go straight to books. Switch to book cam. No more sad things. Well, I mean, sad things if you guys want. But let's go to book cam for just a minute here. High above the world. Look how big this book is. It fills the entire desk. There's no room for anything else. All there is giant book. And, well, if you pan up, there's like a monitor that says coronavirus on it. So that's not good. So much for everything being nice. But, yeah, we're checking it out. Let's look at some Escher. I can't really get the microphone this far over. So, oh, well, so much for book cam. It's a silent show. Look at the size of this thing. Ooh, that's a nice one. I don't know if you guys can see it that well, but top hats and women's faces. We have a little bit of glare and reflection from the lights. Look, if we go hovering book cam, that's pretty neat. Little Mad Bitcoinsy top hat. There we go. It's like book cam really needs to be a top view floating cam right about here. So I'll figure out how to do that. But there you go. Some nice spirals from MC Escher. We're checking out very large books today. Let's see. Some more interesting Escher. The nice thing about, well, it's just not quite right. Let's see. There's a lot of angles here. Sorry about book cam. This is like a book cam in test. We're going to work on better book cams into the future here. But the nice thing about buying a book of Escher or something like that is you get to see the non-popular ones. You get to see some of the ones that maybe aren't in postcards and magazines. Speaking of postcards and magazines, there's one of the most popular Eschers ever. You can even see, oh, come on, camera, focus. Okay, so there it is something. But you can even see a version of this on my Twitter account. Someone's made a Satoshi Nakamoto version with Dorian Satoshi, and they're wearing a Mad Bitcoins hat. So have that on my Twitter. Very cool stuff. And another classic, maybe perfect for our times, the maze going every which direction. Kind of a similar shape here with the folded shape. You can kind of follow the Mobius rings and so far spinning around in that one. That's a neat one. And just one more interesting one with some words. Kind of reminds me of Jung and his Red Book. Some kind of strange rolling caterpillar type figure with human feet rolling through the text. I don't know what it's about. But there you go. There's a little Escher for you. On today's Big Book Cam. If the Escher book wasn't big enough. Subway art. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Tommy, my soul brother. It's Martin from San Jose. How's it going?
It's going good. Another Sunday. Staying
Another
inside.
Sunday, man. Yep. What is it? Day 5 of quarantine out here? I don't know. All the days are blending together.
Well, if you've really been
warp.
prepping, it's been longer, right? I mean, I've been paranoid or whatever they used to call it in the old days about this for before this, before that, before this, and the only time I've seen the outside is to go to the store, which was a terrifying experience because I could see the empty shelves. It was weeks ago, and I was like, "This is my last chance to buy ketchup," and it's not a healthy way to shop, and I don't have a lot of money to buy a lot of ketchup, but that's what my brain was like screaming for, like buy 4 ketchups, buy 8. Like it made no sense.
Oh, you're gonna need the lycopene, man.
Well, I've switched from
that's what I heard.
I've switched from French's mustard to Heinz mustard for the first time ever. So we're all making sacrifices during this crisis. Yes.
Yep. Hey, that's awesome. You're showing the MC Escher book because my wife and I we're both like artists, and I'm a carpenter and like building things and stuff like that. And it reminded me a couple of months ago we were talking about MC Escher, and I didn't realize that he lived until 1971. For some reason in my mind, he was always like way back there, maybe 1800s, maybe he died early 1900s. And we got to talking about that he lived through basically the Spanish flu. He lived through World War I, World War II. And, I read that he was tormented by these things, and his art was an escape. And this was before the coronavirus outbreak. And it just reminded me of that conversation that we had, that, there's a lot of people that live through all that shit, and, we likely will too. And we just got to take all the precautions, and yeah, so it was a nice little synchronicity.
I also think it's good to note how it will affect us. Escher, if you imagine, I mean, we have all these detailed geometric drawings, all this perfection. this is a guy spending a lot of time inside. If all those bad
Right.
things are happening outside, this is not an adventurous spirit here. This is a let's stay home and make these perfect universes that we can escape into. A lot of these things, I know Jung drew these big pictures of World War One before it happened, and he was already freaked about the amount of dead and so forth. You could psychically feel it, and in the same way, right now,
Wow.
this 30% up in Spain, hearing excuse me, hearing Jeff's personal story this morning. I mean, it's getting more and more real. And we can joke about it with the toilet paper, which is the last official joke. Everyone can laugh. Ah, toilet paper. Ha, ha, ha. That's in any
Yeah.
form. In any form, that's the only joke you can make. And we're running out of days to make that joke. Like and there's nothing you can do about it. Like looking at these drawings here, especially this one on the right, kind of the whirlpool nature of it, right? The being drawn into, sucked into the no choices, like just, and we're gonna find out what that bottom looks like, right? I mean, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I
How
don't
about
know.
you got family that you got that you live with or that
Yeah,
are older?
I'm doing all right. A friend of mine sent me a big thread, and I know a lot of people are worried about the civil liberties aspect of this, and the kind of crackdown that you have to stay home or you're on lockdown. Especially Italy is much more of an enforced lockdown, whereas here in Nevada or California, it's more of a don't go out for no reason. Go to the store if you want, walk your dog, which is very
Yes.
ambiguous.
Well, that's why I brought that up is because I got I mentioned on another call my in-laws and they do not take it seriously, man, and it drives me crazy. And they went out yesterday to get groceries, and they're you know my father-in-law, he's 80, and my mother-in-law is I think 76 or something, but they're older. And I even texted them that morning, hey, look, we'll get everything for you. Don't put yourselves at risk. You're in a great position where you can just stay at home. That's all you have to do. And but like you're saying, this conspiracy theory shit, and it's really tough because we got we're gonna have to deal with a lot more BS. It's hard enough to have to worry about our family members.
The
So that
conspiracy theory thing is out there. A lot of them believe in this. A lot of it are getting it reinforced that it's not so big, and so on and so forth. And in the same way, I mean, it's a lot like Pascal's, whatever it's called, Pascal's wager, I think it is, where he says, okay, if there is a God and I don't believe in him, I get punished. Therefore, if there is a God, I should believe in him because there's less problems that way, right? I'll get by, and meanwhile, all I have to do is just kind of do this belief thing and say that it's a thing, and all that. So in the same way, this virus, if you stay home, it's not that bad. Like what was so bad? Okay, you stayed home for a few weeks, you ate some not great food from the kitchen, and when you run out, you go to the store and you wear a mask or something. So. But on the other hand, going out, getting the virus, like Jeff was saying, having someone stomp on your throat or on your chest. I don't know if Jeff had to have a ventilator or not this morning, but that's one of the common treatments there because you'll get water in your lungs, and then they'll have to use a ventilator to get the water out. So not what I want. Like I like going to movies. I like going out to play pinball or whatever. I'm not totally antisocial, but right now you got to make a little sacrifice, and maybe you have to find a way of reframing it. I think if you're too extreme libertarian, it's not the government forcing you to stay home, it's your personal safety. I mean, it's your personal choice to live longer. Like you're making your personal sacrifices. I mean, I don't know, somehow you have to find a way to figure it out because you have to stay home. So
Thomas, I've tried everything with these people. I've tried, do you want to see your grandchildren? Do you want, you know what I mean? Like, and it got so bad yesterday, I just lost it on the phone. And then I'm sorry for bringing this up. This is kind of, but they were like, you can't boss me around. And anyways, that's the
I
story
know.
of,
It's the same as the Trump thing, where you don't want to lose friends and family over this, but you have a very strong suspicion that something is correct, and you want to share it with them, and you have very strong opinions, sometimes driven by lots and lots and lots of facts, and they're just not exposed to the facts, or not interested in the facts, and you just have to find a way to. I don't know. You have to find a way to make friends with them and to still keep going. I know some other people where they let their religious and their lack of Trump versus religion and all these kind of disagreements. They don't see each other anymore. They don't see the little baby that the cousin had, and it's a big brick wall, and it's because of this politics. And I'm sure they're not the only one. I'm sure there's lots of people, and that it's accelerating. I mean, we had a breakdown here yesterday, and eventually I'll get to talking about it, or maybe I can save it for Monday, because who really cares? But they got all mad. I was calling Trump a clown, and I guess that's disrespectful to the president. So I'm in the wrong there. But later
not
on,
Savior Trump.
Later on, when I predicted that he would use, let's see, I forget what I said exactly, but it was kind of he would use religious language and claim there was a cure in the speech, and that because he's talking to his supporters, because he's kind of a con man. Right, and he just wants to give he just wants to give you good news. I mean, it's not it's a positive emotion. Like, he just wants to make us feel good, and so he wants to say there's a cure every day. And if there only was, it would be nice. But otherwise, it's false hopes, and it's a negative in the long term. And I know it makes it feel good in the short term, but it's a negative in the long term. So so I was all ragging on that, and then he went out and did exactly that, using exactly religious language to claim there's a cure. So it was it was justifying for me, but I don't really need to do that. But again, we lost friends. We lost people in the chat there because they couldn't take it, because the leader or the lack of facts or something.
People view him as like a savior. It's mind-boggling. Oh, he's gonna arrest all the criminals in D.C. This is all just an orchestrated attempt to get the pedophiles and it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I've seen that tweet. I've seen those going around. The scariest thing that I know of, and it's it's a stupid personal anecdote or whatever, so it doesn't mean anything. But someone that I know, just go there, believes in their heart of hearts that Trump is a born again Christian. So
yeah, right.
No, I mean, and they'll defend it, and they'll get furious at you, and so on and so forth. And I don't know where they got this information, and I don't know why they believe that this is true, and so on and so forth. But they really do, when it comes down to all these like core beliefs that they have, which I think are nice and positive beliefs and generally good for society. And no, they think that he's directly in line. They think that they've elected one of their own, and they think this in a lot of ways. I don't know why, but in a lot of ways, probably because he speaks in code, and not even in code. Yesterday's speech was, he said, I think he really said the words miracle. He said it would be a gift from God, a gift from heaven, that we should thank God, and that we should pray to God. So he was just being straightforward with it, which is fine if he actually believed that. I'm not saying that his beliefs or that having beliefs are wrong. I'm just saying that falsely parading these beliefs and fooling people, and I believe it's false, and you can believe what you want to believe, but no, I don't know how to deal with that, and the same thing. I think we need to find a way to agree to disagree and still be friends, and if only there was a carrot and a stick that you could negotiate with your in-laws or whatever there, where you could say, hey, well, maybe if you stay inside, I'll buy you $500 worth of food, or I'll buy you a new TV and you can watch it for 3 months. I mean, like, I don't want to get that low or whatever and say that we're, manipulating people like Pavlov's dogs with things, but I don't know, buy them a TV.
Oh,
I don't know what would work.
I've already tried.
Right? Yeah.
I've tried it all. I've done every route. It's funny. A few weeks ago, I saw all this coming. It doesn't take someone with a lot of IQ points to see where this was headed. You just had to be paying attention. And they wanted to tear their kitchen out to redo it. And I said, look, you guys, just wait a week or two till we figure out what's going on. You don't want to be without a kitchen. Just trust me on this. The very next day, they had the contractors there, tore the whole sucker out. So I had to go over there, build them a temporary sink, reinstall their stove under the condition that they would stay there and that I would help build them cabinets. But they didn't listen, because they know best, and they had, they had their own business, and they're very on the go people, and blah blah blah, and this could never happen to me, and then you hear the comment, oh well, if I die, I die. We don't want that to happen. We have a choice, just chill out. You don't have to jeopardize your safety. You don't have to sacrifice your life for just an on the whim decision because you get antsy. Just take it easy. But, I tried it all. And so I don't know what's going to happen now, but we'll see.
You just got to do the best you can do and let them make their own way in it. I mean, the other horrible part of it is at a certain point, you have to stop seeing people if they're not going to be doing the self-quarantine. I know a friend of mine a couple weeks ago was still bouncing around out there in the world, and I think he's a good guy, and I'd like to have him by and hang out. But at the same time, I was like, I've been trying so hard to self-quarantine and so hard to do a good job on this, and I don't, it's funny because usually I like staying home, but as soon as you start focusing on it, then you don't like it.
Right.
And he's out there bouncing around. I'm like, I can't take the risk. I can't see my friend. I can't have them over. And I saw a lot of pictures today of people who are so-called social distancing, but really they were having house parties and playing board games. They were hanging out in the pool at the apartment complex. I mean, we've got to get it through our heads. This is the real one. This is the outbreak. We all stay inside. I saw a good example. A friend on Facebook had a giant puzzle that they'd laid out. That's a great idea. Giant puzzle. Let's do that. This is your chance, cleaning your house, organizing your stuff, doing the Marie Kondo thing, which fortunately I just did. But if you guys haven't done it yet, this is a great opportunity to do it. You get all of your as a basic thing. She wrote 2 books about it, and I read both of them. But as a basic thing, you get all of your items together, hold them in your hand individually, one at a time, look at them. And if they bring you joy, keep them. Or if they're useful, right? There's kind of a useful thing where a plunger doesn't bring me joy, but I'm always going to need, a couple of plungers. But I don't need 6 plungers. I don't need 8 plungers in 3 different colors, So the same kind of thing. You go through all your clothes and your books and there's all kinds of details to this. But this would be a great project to take on if you're stuck at home and you're bored. And you just need something where you wake up and you're like, all right, time to get on it, time to get on the project. Because, just sitting around is not the thing. We've got all kinds of options.
Oh, for me, I'm perfectly capable of staying at home. I'm a homebody anyways. I find shit to do. I got a little wood shop in the backyard, and I'm set, man. I can always keep myself occupied,
Well, you just got to not worry about the old relatives and just focus on your projects, and you did the best you can, and there you go.
Oh, yeah. Like MC Escher. Hey, did you give any thought to the human beings on the blockchain idea?
Well, I mean, it's actually funny because here at the World Crypto Network, as I toot our own horn, we actually helped create the Blockchain ID project. I think it was back in 2014, but my friend Chris Ellis worked together with a bunch of other people right here on the network, and they created kind of an identification for themselves, and they had a key signing party similar to crypto, where everyone got together and they all agreed that this person was indeed that person, and they matched up with the identity and they signed it to the blockchain, and it became a thing. And then I don't know, a dozen or 100 other companies then raised money and did VC and tried to deliver, and I'm not sure anyone's delivered yet. But the idea is still out there. A lot of people are into it. So
We'll see. I have a feeling we'll see some. What is that called? A Hegelian dialectic, when they have a problem, reaction, solution. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, PRS is definitely one thing. Yeah, problem, reaction, solution.
So we'll see a lot of sort of solutions in the coming months. We'll see what they are.
They're saying already. We're trying to keep it about Escher here. This is a Sunday show. Come on, but no, they're saying.
Okay.
No,
I'm sorry, guys.
I'm kidding, but no, they're saying already that the Department of Justice is pushing forward a large proposal that would change how trials were run. I don't know the details there, but the most important thing seems to be that they get the right to detain you inevitably or forever. Infinite detention, probably with the idea being that the prisoner would be infected with the virus. So until the virus is out of the prisoner, so on and so forth. It's something like that. Everybody's super mad. Even some Republicans who should be kind of rolling over on this because it's their people, their DOJ. But no, a lot of people are mad about that. They're trying to push back in the same way that we were mad on Friday about encryption. That we want to keep encryption, having a voluntary app or having some kind of location tracking app for people who are infected, sadly might be necessary or effective at some point, and we'll have to have big debates on that and where the data goes and all that kind of thing. That would be a larger issue, but at a core issue, no, I'm not giving up encryption. So
no, hell no.
Yeah.
Oh, well, shoot. Well, thanks, Thomas. I appreciate the shows, and I like that I can call in and shoot some ideas around, and because otherwise I drive my wife crazy with this stuff. She can't take it anymore. And I honestly, I got to the point yesterday. I was like, oh my God, when is this going to go away? This is just.
No, this goes on forever, and that's why it's good that we've all taken to the internet in our own little communities and our own little subcultures to talk about this and to deal with it. Because yeah, just like with Bitcoin, the big thing someone told me about Bitcoin once, they were like, I tired out my family and friends. Like they don't want to hear about it anymore. So they sent me here to the internet to talk to you. And I think I gave them a show or something. I was like, okay, you got a show, like talk about Bitcoin. So there you go.
Cool. All right, man. Have a good Sunday.
Thanks so much, Marty. Give us a call anytime. And you can call us now at 1-518-600-1949 or on Skype at World Crypto Network. Ask any question. Saying in the chat, is anyone set up to leave your Bitcoin to someone if you die? That would be a great idea. I know Pamela Morgan wrote a great book about that, about inheritance. And at a very basic level, in a 30-second non-legal advice, I would say if you write down on a piece of paper, like a letter, what you want to be done with your stuff, where your stuff generally is, what your passwords and such are, if you want, or you can make some kind of a multi-letter system to your own complexity. But in general, if you make such a letter, sign it and date it, it's almost as good as a will. It's a good start towards a will. So it'd be better to have a letter explaining your crypto to your loved ones than not having a letter and it's lost forever, or not having a letter and it's legally questionable and someone that you don't want takes your inheritance and so on and so forth. Or maybe it just goes to your tech guy. Maybe the guy who takes your computer out to the trash ends up with your Bitcoin. So better to have a plan. It's nice to believe we'll all live forever, but it's sadly not true. As I mentioned right here, the World Crypto Network is featured in this book, Blockchain. Cool. It's an O'Reilly book, and it's the blockchain ID that Mr. Chris Ellis created. There it is. It's kind of fuzzy. I don't know if you can read it. The camera's not really cooperating, but World Citizen Project blockchain-based passport image credit Chris Ellis. So we created these right here on the air on the World Crypto Network. Now it's in a book on page 49 in the blockchain government section. So pretty cool. Blockchain, the book. World Crypto Network. All right. I think we're also thanked in Jimmy Song's book, but I don't have a copy of it here. It'd be cool to get a copy of Jimmy Song's. I think it's called like Programming Blockchain. Boy, you can't get any focus today at all. All right, Book Cam, you're over. You're out of here. Book Cam. But yeah, so that like Chaotic Crypto saying, was it like a passport on steroids? Basically like that. It was a passport that didn't require a government to be verified. You just verified it in the blockchain, stored the information. I don't know, it's been a long time ago. Stored the information in there somehow. I don't know if they put it in the blockchain or if it was a link to someone else, the way that Factom does it or used to do it. I don't know anymore. But yeah, just a way to identify people. I met a guy once. He was living in the Netherlands, and he was forced out of Syria. He had nothing at all, no identification, no college degree, nothing. He couldn't prove he was a programmer. And he was very interested in this idea of blockchain ID, and he was working on it at The Hague to do some official stuff and try to help people, especially the displaced people who don't have any ID anymore. And we all might be displaced someday. I have no idea what's going to happen in the future. So maybe it would be great to store blockchain, store database things. Sorry, to store degrees and passports and other information on the blockchain. At least you could have some access to it later. It doesn't mean that some, totalitarian government is going to start accepting it or think that it's valid or something. But if you have a good government, they'll accept it. I don't know what happened to Bookcam. Lost its focus today. But let's go back to graphics. All right, what's going on in the chat? Any questions in the chat? Any phone calls? Do you want to see more Subway art? Do you want to hear the news? You can vote by saying the name of what you want to happen. Or we could save the news and I might save some of that for Monday because it's just blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter. So here we go. Bitcoin news. Bitcoin's correlation with S&P at 2-year high amid the coronavirus crisis. And also from Cointelegraph, getting 2 in the top. Bitcoin was designed for a financial crisis. So far, it's working well. It's pretty good. And bailouts, Bitcoin, disruption, failures, and hope. It's one way to write a headline over at CoinDesk. So there you go, Bitcoin. We're still looking for this to happen. Still pretty sure this is going to happen. But again, what else can you do? You got to help people get the money. You got to help people eat. You got to help them pay for the mortgages and so forth. Like, no one's going to be able to pay for anything. So they're going to have to print it. I wasn't going to talk that much about politics, but there is this great tweet from Andy Slavitt. Andy writes, if that doesn't convince you, look at 2 neighboring states with similar demographics. This is what decisive wartime generals do. And you can see on the left, it's a little small. Let's see, get bigger. No, it doesn't embiggen. If we zoom in on not the Twitter, maybe we can embiggen. So this is Kentucky versus Tennessee. Right here early on, Kentucky governor strongly encourages social distancing, but right here at the beginning, March 6th, he declares a state of emergency. So Kentucky is already in a state of emergency, while Tennessee is says there's no reason to close schools and workplaces. They're keeping pharmacies open. Finally, Tennessee declares a state of emergency 13 days later. So this is what happens if you don't do anything. This is a real life example from this year from 2 different states. If we had national leadership, both states could have been like Kentucky. They both could have gone early. Tennessee finally closes schools by March 20th. That looks to be about 9 days after Kentucky. So here we go. Tennessee is the yellow number. You see the cases in Tennessee? Yellow, 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 up, up, up. Looks like they're also showing us tested cases, an incredible amount of tested cases in Kentucky, and an incredibly low amount of spread. So this is it right here with Kentucky versus Tennessee. The states are laboratories. They're not supposed to be laboratories of death. If we had national leadership, what is that supposed to mean? Well, right here on March 6th, when Kentucky declares a state of emergency, and I would say a similar date is when the National Basketball Association declares a state of emergency, a national state of emergency would have been a good move, right? Having one standard for all the states so that they could all prepare, so that they could all start getting gloves, so they could all start getting ventilators. Maybe you live, for bad luck, in the state of Tennessee, and your governor is a good dude, but he's asleep at the wheel, right? He's not feeling well. He's just not digging it. So he's 9 days behind, right? You're 9 days behind because you're in Tennessee. You're being punished for not being in a better state, right? Something happened. Now, if we had a national government like we're supposed to, the national government could preemptively act with the state of the emergency. The national government could say at a national level, close the bars, close the restaurants, close the schools, stop the spread of this thing. That's what they could have said, but they didn't, right? So instead, the states are a laboratory for democracy. Usually, it's a good laboratory, like we're both writing laws to improve things, or we're both increasing regulation or decreasing regulation, whatever you want to be good. Usually, it's a laboratory of democracy, but right now, it's a laboratory of death, where Tennessee was 9 days late. Tennessee declares its state of emergency 6 days later than Kentucky because of a lack of national leadership. I don't know, like, what you guys don't understand. Like, having a national standard makes it easier. Let's say that you're in a state like Nevada, where all of your money comes from hospitality, restaurants, and casinos, and you have to close those restaurants and casinos to keep people home, to keep them from spreading the virus. You tried voluntarily stay home. You tried like putting the word out and warning people. That doesn't work. You actually have to close the places that people are going to go so that they will stay home, right? Ireland, same thing. Keep going to bars. Italy, same thing. This is 3-4 weeks ago, before all of this. So you have to get them to stay home. Having a national standard would have been better. We're going to talk about this more. But yes, Nevada shut down. The governor shut down the entire state. Right now, can you hear that sound? There's not a single gambling machine running in the entire state of Nevada. So, future Trump, even more power. Again, we already give presidents the power to handle national disasters. So, no, we don't have to give them even more power. They have to use the power they're given, right? The reports that they got in January and February from the intelligence agencies that scared them into selling their stock also should have scared them into preparing just a little bit, anything. And again, they shut off travel to China at one point. They shut off travel to Europe at one point. They didn't do anything else. Okay. You guys can, turtle about it all you want. It's going to come back later. I don't want to do the news recap. I'm going to do that on Monday. Joined us in the chat. Had a little bit of fun. Here's a positive poll. We talked about what kind of music streaming app are you using these days. 111 people voted. 78% of people are using Spotify. 21% using Apple Music. So that's a pretty interesting poll, and also explains why no one ever responds to my playlists from Apple Music. So it goes. It's fun not having to manage your music. That was a lot of work. But it's fun to just be able to download the new Weeknd album by pushing the button. I don't know if it's because of the virus and the stay home, but there's a new Weeknd and a new Childish Gambino album out just a couple days ago. So you can check those out on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you like. And it just automatically downloads. It's pretty cool. Let's see, checking it out. Hey, shout out to Tune In, Drop Out. Thanks so much for the $20 donation. He said he's sitting here with friends, setting one up with a Bitcoin account. Bitcoin is gaining in popularity. All right. That's what you got to do. Show your friends Bitcoin. Give them a little bit. Get them started on it. I don't know what what to say now with the price and the up and the down and everything. But looking back to when Bitcoin was $100 and I was trying to drag my friends into it, I don't know what more I could have done, but I wish I'd done more, right? I wish I'd had special friends and family meetings where I told them how important Bitcoin was and so on and so forth. And the funny thing is, even right now at, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000, whatever we're at, 6,075, we might be saying that in the future as well. We might be like, damn, that kid said at 100, but then at 5,000 was still a pretty good deal. But maybe it isn't. Maybe it goes to 0. I don't know. That's what the traders do. They always say up and then they say down just to cover their ass. So, but thanks for the donation. Thanks for hanging out and watching the show. I've had a good time chatting with people. It's been over an hour, so that's pretty good. People are having the big fight in the chat. It's pretty much the same fight we're having on Twitter, the same discussion, etc. Freedom versus killing the virus. I want to kill that virus. I want to take that virus out. I want to separate the people and win. Again, how you do that, at what scale you do that, how you can decide to do that. There's a lot of these things you just have to go down the trees and you have to say, well, this decision, that decision, this decision, that decision, and, so on and so forth. How big it is, how big is it, how bad is it? So on and so forth. So just have to keep working for it. Is Spotify bad for artists? I don't know. The internet, we ate the music industry with the MP3s a long time ago. So I don't know. Sell me a t-shirt, sell me a concert ticket. But the problem is no one's going to concerts anymore. So we just doomed the music industry again. Whoops. But restaurants and theaters and everything else went down with it. So, we were supposed to do positive news, not doom and gloom. Okay, we're going to end on a positive note. We're not ending yet. Going back to Book Cam. Subway art. So there you go, New York City. This is a subway train in its actual environment, so it's that photographer. As you can see, most of the train's been painted with these artists, and they're graffiti taggers, but they're also artists, so it is a complex issue. But their goal with this art was to get on these trains because these trains went all city. If you got on the right train, it could go to all 5 boroughs, meaning that people would see your art, whether it's art like this, a face and some pictures, or whether it's just a tag of your name. They would see your art across all 5 boroughs. This is before the internet. This is kind of like tweeting, right? Let's look at some more subway art. This is an example of the other photographer featured in this book. This photographer uses multiple cameras at the station set up in advance to capture the entire train. I don't know how he does this, if they're on poles or something. How he gets the people out of there, but later on he would combine the images, likely before Photoshop, likely maybe some kind of photographic process or something to create these plates, these entire train. And as you can see, some would say this is horrible vandalism, destroying the city. Others would say these are artists using the entire canvas, including the windows. Let's look at some more subway art. There's a big one, also interesting because you can see the people in between there on the train. So a mixture of 80s, 70s clothing and some interesting art. See, a good sign of a big book. If the book itself isn't big enough, the book folds out to give you even more book. That's a big book. There you can see kind of a combination of the two techniques. This is probably our thesis and a good image to end on. You can both see the entire train and you can see the environment. It's both photographers work together. And I think that's, we're going to call it for today's Thomas Hunt Show. I'm going to save the news recap for tomorrow. So if you want to fight about politics, I'll be here tomorrow. It's going to be a nice Monday morning show. And we'll talk all about how Trump used religious language in his speech and promised a miracle career that the doctors had to walk back again. Bummer. I definitely agree with the tweet I saw this morning. We should all be watching Governor Andrew Cuomo, or Mario? I don't know. Governor Cuomo in New York is doing a great job in his press conferences and doing a great job responding to this crisis. So here he goes on around noon East Coast time. Maybe they're archived on YouTube or something, but check out Governor Cuomo. Check out some good art. Watch a movie today. Tell me about it. Read a book. Like, stay home. Stay home. And join us again tomorrow. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and a share. And we're going to do this again. Subscribe down below. Hit the bell for notifications. I'm on Twitter at MadBitcoins. You can follow World Crypto Network at World Crypto Net. And until next time, bye-bye.